Time frame, images of a generation. We grew up in a simpler time. We sang.
Say, kids, what time is it? M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E.
We laughed.
Hello, boy.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
We cried.
President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
He's been shot. Lee Oswald has been shot.
We fought. We loved. We were attacked.
Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii by air.
Our flag was still there. Now these memories come to life on posters that can be yours today. Go to howdyboomy.com for your copies today. That's howdyboomy.com. howdyboomy.com.
Welcome to the Howdy Booty podcast. There is mass demonstrations around the country, especially on college campuses, and it shows how mob rule is one way that people are trying to get their way being done legislatively or tactically. And a documentary is coming out called The Fall of Minneapolis. And a perfect example of mob rule causing an outcome that is catastrophic is in this documentary. And it's about George Floyd. Do you remember COVID? Everything's locked down. People are sort of going nuts. And in Minneapolis, St. Paul, George Floyd was arrested, apprehended by police. They put him in a hold where they put him down on the ground. They put a knee up against his neck. He started complaining, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Eventually, the policeman who did that is put in prison. His family got $27 million because George Floyd died. 5 other policemen are put in prison as accomplices to murder. And $2 billion worth of damage was done to the city of Minneapolis. Black Lives Matter was formed. They got their money. They got their way. And it was a disaster. This documentary is showing how this was all a sham. It showed the policemen involved in interviews. It showed them arresting George Floyd a year ahead of time. The same mannerisms he exhibited when this whole fiasco started, he exhibited years ago. He wouldn't show his hands. He was in his car. What he was doing was swallowing pills. Now, fast forward to when he was currently arrested with this fiasco. He wouldn't show his hands. The police said he reacted the same way. They were called to arrest him because he was passing counterfeit money. They put him in the hold. They arrested him. I can't breathe. He died. They were accused of murder. In testimony in court, it was proven that the chokehold, or whatever restraining hold you want to put the terms to, was standard operating procedure approved by the Minneapolis Police Department. All officers used it. On the witness stand, the chief of police denied it ever existed. He threw his cops under the bus. The chief of police, I believe, was black. It was an election year. The mayor caved. The common council caved. The governor of the state of Minnesota caved. The police asked if there was a game plan because people are rioting. They're killing other people. They're destroying businesses. There was no response from the police department. Let them go. There was no game plan. They threw the cops under the bus. It finds out that in the autopsy, George Floyd had twice the lethal amount of fentanyl in his system. George Floyd had 75% blockage in one of the arteries leading to the heart, 60% in the other. The medical examiner stated that if this was released in court, if George Floyd had died in bed at home, found him on the floor, it would have been ruled an overdose. No damage to his trachea, no damage to his neck, no damage was caused by the hole that the police put him in to subdue him. And yet that's the picture that was painted. The chief of police threw him under the bus. The mayor threw them under the bus. The governor of the state of Minnesota threw them under the bus. Black Lives Matter was born. They received millions of dollars. They destroyed law enforcement. Defunding police became a crusade. All because of this sham. The liars in the Minneapolis Police Department. The Fall of Minneapolis. It's a documentary. Watch it. Mob rule does not work. The bad part is honest people. People who abide by the law. People, middle America, who works hard. Who care about their family just to make a living, have their kids have a better living than they had. They don't go out and do this stuff. They don't torch their own neighborhoods. They don't riot. This is organized. It's a fantastic story. It was a sham. The country is being destroyed by this. We ought to bring it to light. The Fall of Minneapolis by a correspondent from the state of Minnesota in Minneapolis on News. Watch it. It's an amazing thing how this sham, should George Floyd's family pay back the $27 million? That would be interesting because then they could bring this out exactly what happened. Do you think Minnesota will ask for it? Of course not. They have no spine. George Floyd was a sham and it's helping destroy this country. Watch the Howdy Boomy podcast daily on the Howdy Boomy channel on YouTube. Let's make America great again, again. Vote. Vote your conscience, but as long as you vote, you have a voice in this country. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you. God bless America.